Amani Leo, how are you? Emily Kichuli, how are you? Let me know where you're tuned in from. Karibu sana. Karibu sana. Hi Emily, where you tuned in from? Karibu. Anita Annabelle, I see you. How are you doing? Let me know where you're tuned in from. Karibu sana. Anita, let me know where you're tuned in from. Hope you're all good. We've made it to 2020 up to here, man. So reliving, man. Hope you're doing good. Carol Mukeria, how are you doing? Lenny, I can see you. Chamgay. You're not going to Eldoret, Madoko South B. Nairobi, Mado Gender Holidays. Oh, 2020 is coming to an end. Oh, Annabelle, you are from Maldives. That's where you're originally from, or you're there for holidays? Let me know. Kenya, it's all good. Chilled out. We just can't wait for the year to end, but also, so far so good. We're used to a curfew here in Kenya. Every day by 10 we need to be in our houses. How is it in Maldives? Lynette East African, Prince Moasia, I can see you. Let me know where you're tuned in from. Karibu sana, it's Tuesday. Just to chill and just have a business conversation. Tonight I'm going to be having a conversation with Adams Tuva, who's a guy who's founded so many companies, and I just want to find out, both in tech and real estate, how exactly he's doing it. So Lynette East African, which part of East Africa are you tuned in from? I was listening to the new Nyashinsky song with Kaigi. It's called Haputu. It's actually an interesting song. You need to check out. I love Kenyan music. So I always try to keep track of every new Kenyan music that's coming out. Nyashinsky and Kaiga. It's called Haputu. Oh, you're in Istanbul, Turkey. How's it? I need to come visit Turkey. I rewind. It's actually quite a nice song. Let me just put it up again. Just waiting for the YouTube ads just to come off. It's called Haputu. You need to check it out. It's such a nice song. It's such a nice song. You need to listen to it. So probably the song says just Haputu, meaning that you need just to stay there. Haputu, aditumalize. It's a cool song. It's a cool song. I'm just waiting for Tuva just to join in. Adams Tuva. Tonight we're just going to be having a conversation around business. I know it's been a crazy year. Most of the plans you've had, most likely they've been just thrown off the roof. Let's just find out how other entrepreneurs are doing. Let me know if you're in business. Let me know if you're in business. So Lenita telling me, Karibu, it's winter now. Extremely cold. Sorry about that. But I hope you're keeping well. And I'm sure in Turkey the holiday mood is already on. Oh yes, the laughing brother. Yes, I'm always happy regardless. My goodness, my laughter will fool you. I'm so tired. I can see Tuva Adams is already here. So we're going to be starting off the conversation in a few. And as I told you, tell a friend to tell a friend. It's Tuesday, time for some business conversation. It's going to be interesting, right? Ramadan, Karibu Sana, Elvista, Karibu Sana, tell a friend to tell a friend. You're starting off quite shortly. Tuva Adams, my guest, is already here. Hi, Tuva.
Hi, Ian, how are you?
I'm all good. You're dressed up for the night, I can see.
How are you?
I'm all good, just chilled out, just trying to wind up my day.
Mm.
I love the picture behind you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
What's that? Is it Buddha or what?
That's Buddha, yeah. A picture.
Ah,
Yeah.
what?
That's a picture of Buddha.
Interesting. You subscribe to Buddha?
Not really.
Coincidentally, yesterday I was just doing some research about different kinds of religion, and I loved what exactly Buddha stands for. I was checking out Buddha, Judaism, Islam, the essence of Christianity. It's quite interesting, and yeah, it has so many different things. But how's your day?
Not bad. Very, very busy, but okay. So we are really,
Uh-huh.
really grateful, yeah.
What are you up to? Because I know right now so many things have disrupted this particular year. How is your now day-to-day schedule like?
Okay, right now we're trying to wind up a lot of projects for our clients. So it's almost getting to the end of the year. We need to release some projects before the year ends. So it's really bumper to bumper. We have to visit some clients or, traveling and all that. But so far, so good. Busy is always good.
No, it is. I always prefer using the word productive.
Mhm.
Some people are busy but not productive, but you seem to be very productive. But something quite interesting about you, because I'm
Mhm.
just trying to do a research on you and just trying to check out what's it called, the things you do. You run so many brands, so many companies.
Yeah.
How come? And I think the last time I checked in one of the interviews saying you're running more than 13 brands. How do you do that?
It's slow but sure. Some of these things were started ages ago, as in you're talking about 10 plus years. So you realize one brand can take a year, 2 years to come up with, get into it, uh, go through the ins and outs, yeah, do the automation. So by the time it's actually done, and trust you me, it's never really done. So it's continuous. So a brand we developed like 10 years ago, till date, we are still trying to perfect it. So it's never done. So for us, it's a matter of how do we impact the most people?
Yeah.
So every single thing we do, we must be able to impact some people. So it's not about developing brands for the sake of it. It must first of all impact, someone somewhere positively. It must be something which is close to my heart. I don't do projects which I really don't care about. So I must love them.
Yeah.
So if it's a project I've started, I must have thought about it, done some research on it, and it must be very close to my heart because when I start, I don't stop.
Interesting. And just let's now go before the start of all this. I read, I think, in your website that you worked in some various banks. What exactly were you doing? Where were you? Just take me through your journey before you immersed yourself into the world of business.
Okay. I was very blessed to start working at local banks very early. I remember I did
Yeah.
my first internship at Citibank. So
Mhm.
if you could just, Citibank is a major bank, as in they're really quite
Yes.
robust. I went in as an intern. I did some work
Mhm.
there. I later went to a Barclays Bank, a department called PACE, that is Payment and International Services. I also had a chance to work there for a couple of, for some time. Then now from there, I went to NIC Bank. I think now they've rebranded and all that. And at
Yeah.
NIC Bank, I was at data center, right? So this is
Ah.
security, yeah. So where most of the money comes to the calculations, things called end of day, start of day, those are kind of things I was dealing with at that time.
And what had you studied to get you there? Well, are you a finance major, accountant? What exactly had you studied,
No,
and where?
I'm purely IT, so I'm a programmer.
Uh-huh.
So that data center, that is IT, right? So
Yeah.
security, servers, programming, that is basically my strength.
Where had you studied? Where did you go to university?
I went
What was your background like?
university for me was not that easy.
Uh-huh.
I had a major culture shock coming to Nairobi, and my first university was USIU, where I did my first degree. So I did IT. And
Uh-huh.
as in, university was not that easy for me. As in, the culture shock was just a lot. At that
How
time,
come? How come?
because you see, I'm from the coast, by the way.
Uh-huh.
So my first language is Swahili. So you realize,
Uh-huh.
simple things like saying hi and all that. I just used to see that on TV.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a culture shock initially, but after some time you get used to it. You get used to the ropes. It becomes second nature to you, and you adapt.
Interesting. Oh, so umetoka Mombasa. Mombasa wapi kwani?
I'm from somewhere called Malindi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's where I come from.
Ah, interesting. So you travel also you grew up in Malindi, that's where you started also your high school before coming to university.
Not really. Here's a shocker. I went to
Uh-huh.
a school in Loreto for my primary till class 6. Then I went
Uh-huh.
to
Loreto here in Nairobi.
Loreto Convent is in Mombasa.
Uh-huh.
You've heard of Loreto Convent?
Yes. There's
Okay.
also one in Nairobi.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know they have
Yeah.
a number of locations. So from there, I came to
Yeah.
Kericho Boys
Uh-huh.
boarding, which is in Kericho. Then I was lucky enough.
What? So you used to travel all the way from Malindi to Kericho.
Exactly. Yeah. So
That's like a 15, 16 hour journey.
it was very hectic. It was very hectic journey.
Uh-huh.
And then it's by bus,
Yeah.
so you can imagine.
Damn.
Yeah,
What?
yes. So
So
from there,
so Kericho boys?
yeah, Kericho Boys, then Nakuru High School. At that time, Nakuru High School, I think there were two national schools at that time which were mixed. That was Kabarak and Nakuru High School. So I went to
Mm-hmm.
Nakuru High School when it was still a mixed national school. I think now they're separated.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
from there now I went to Now University.
Interesting. So how at you say how exactly was the experience like? You tell me it was a culture shock
Yeah,
because you find the slang boys.
that's
Kizungu ulikuwa unatembea.
my brother. But with time you get used to it, and it becomes almost second nature. So USA was very good. Most of all, despite the education, just um, you know them yeah, them bringing you into the world. As in, I really can't explain this, but it's beyond education, and that's what's most important to most people. People go to university just to learn the books and
Yeah.
excel, but education to me means more than just the A's in class and whatever. So once you're able to do the grades, yes, but beyond that, what else
Mhm.
have you learned? What else have you captured? So you need to go somewhere and learn beyond the just the school life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So just take me through. So after university, you went immediately got the internship and you worked for how many years do you work and at what particular point now did you decide let me now live this particular corporate life and let me go into business?
Okay, basically what I did was I gave everyone 1 year. So every institution, I was very lucky. By my second year, first semester, I'd already gotten my first job. That is my
Mhm.
first internship. Most people wait till when they're done. This is maybe after the fourth year and all that. So I was able to schedule my
Yeah.
life in such a way that by my second year, I had enough progress to show the recruitment people that okay, fine, this is the kind of person I am. This is what I can do. This is what I can offer. And from there, uh, I got Citibank to give me the first opportunity. So I did some
Mhm.
work with them. I think most of the people, I gave them 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. So after,
Mhm.
actually on the same day I finished university, when I finished my first degree, the same day is when I resigned. Now at that time I was at NIC Bank. I resigned from NIC Bank and I started now tamaking to start getting biashara. So the same day I graduated, which was my birthday, and I'd actually given notice to NIC Bank to to now say, okay, fine, thank you for the opportunity. I think now I can now get into the industry and start getting some biashara.
Interesting. And what was your first venture, and what informed it?
I've always been in IT. So 2014, all through, as in all that time, ever since I was in university, I've always been in IT. So immediately I got out of banking. I went into website development, software development, setting of domains, hosting, SSLs, and one of the brands actually does that till today. So we have Buy Domain Kenya, which has been selling domains for the longest times, and it started immediately after I stepped out of banking life. So we've run the numbers. Of course, it's taken so much time. But if you look at us starting with one domain over a decade ago to now we're almost getting to 19,000, domains, and 19,000 clients so far. It's really a big leap. So from that time till now, we've just been focusing on two things. Our focus is mostly ICT, right, or real estate. We don't really go beyond that, and that's where I'm comfortable, and that's where I intend to remain.
And speaking about domains, one of the interesting things about the domain business is that it's dominated by external players. What exactly drove you into it, and how exactly did you get into it? Because considering that it was your first time launching yourself into business, and it's a business that is literally, what's it called, dominated by external players. How exactly was it?
To us, it was a challenge, yeah, because you realize that there are companies in this world who are doing, 2 million domains, 5 million domains, 10 million domains, 20 million domains. And these are companies on this globe, in this world. So I know they did not start today or yesterday, but my question was, if we start with one, at some point, we will get to the million, 2 million, 3 million a year kind of domain. So for me, domain business is a long-term kind of business and strategy. So because you realize once you have a client as a domain, you have them for life, right? So the same person who used to pay me 10 years ago for the same services still pays me to date, right? Our services are stable. You offer, we're always online, you don't have small issues. So with that allows people to, trust us, right? You're talking about some major organizations, including some of our government organizations, talking about major NGOs, hospitals, county hospitals. So it's a lot of trust. And I believe when you go in as simple as let's get your domain, that grows into us developing your website, developing your systems, developing your apps. Can you put your platform here? So it's to us it's the opening, it's the key to open into most organizations, and from there, once people trust us and once people understand the quality and what we do, they're easily able to say, okay, fine, you guys also do ABCD. Can we work on you on this? So basically, that was a strategy. So so far so good. I think we are among the top guys in Kenya, if not Africa, as in the kind of domains we register every day is really amazing. So we have automated the process, and we are hoping that in a few years we'll be hitting 1 million, 2 million, 3 million accounts on
Interesting.
Yes.
And something that I noticed about you and even just from your profile is that most of your brands are sort of more nationalistics. There's Buy Rent Kenya, there's Buy Kenya Domain. Everything is just with Kenya about it. What exactly is this? Why is so?
I think I really believe in this country. I really have a lot of faith in our youth. I have a lot of faith in our women in business, our SMEs, and people have, I don't know, I don't feel they have the belief that we're really great until you produce a brand that is competing worldwide. then now people feel okay, fine. If Adams Group can do this, then I feel we can also do the same. So for me, it's a matter of just encouraging other people to do the same and to serve as an example. So when I develop a brand or when I come up with an idea, I make sure that it has a feel of Kenya. It has a feel of my nationality. So to me, it's Kenya, right? From Kenya to the world, and I believe that's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something about what's it called? Just going through most of the brands that you have, and one of the brands that got me was the workplace. What's it called? Application that you're trying to target SMEs. And the reason why this is so is because I know you know about Slack.
Yes, I do.
Yes, that they got acquired. Was it last week for around 27 billion? My goodness, I was actually watching it. It's just crazy. And I just wanted to find out about your end game. Because I just wanted to find out about your end game. Because playing in this particular space of IT and the whole thing is all about how can I grow my brand so fast and probably just sell it to them. What's your end game with all this that you have?
Ian, who sent you?
I'm just a curious fellow.
You must have someone.
And I'm very as in my interest mostly in business, more in the tech space. So there's nothing I don't know, probably.
Okay. So to me, I realized that there's so many. As in, you realize one thing about me, Ian, is that I really focus on starting businesses which are starting up. So these are youth, young girls, young boys who are starting to start biashara, and we get paid a lot of money to develop this CRM for other people who can afford maybe our services. But then I started and realized that, okay, fine, we are doing this for all these other guys. What are we doing for our people? What are we doing for the people who are starting biashara, yes, but they don't have the kind of muscle to come to afford, a robust CRM like this. So I thought about it and we discussed it with my team and we agreed, okay, fine. What we can do is we can develop a super CRM, right? And roll it out to maybe a kind of resources we put into. So we came up with Workplace. Workplace is actually on an international standard regarding what it can do. So talking about human resource management, talking about client management, invoicing, crazy automation. So with this, we believe that we can roll this out to to SMEs at a very cheap price because it's almost like 300 bob per
yeah, so I think it ranges from 300 to around 5,000, if I'm not wrong, depending on the number of employees.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So depending on your financial muscle, everything is bulked into one. Zoom calls, most of the things which SMEs use every day. So we put that into one area, allowing them to, acquire it very affordably, right? Pay on M-Pesa, pay using Visa, and really help themselves grow. Because you need to realize one thing: a business without accountability, a business without automation, a business without reports, it's literally crippled. Right? True. You're literally giving them. You're trying to put them on their feet and give them a strong foundation to grow. Because once you put your records in the CRM, once you put your records in the CRM, they're there forever. Yeah. So 5 years down the line, you can say, okay, fine, we did this kind of business 5 years ago. This is how we do it. This is how we did it, and this is where we are right now. So you can say, okay, fine, I've done this in the last 2 years or 3 years. I believe I can project next 5 years using the system. So something like that. That was my idea behind it.
And something that I really wanted to know and just of interest that I really wanted to ask you was that you're managing so many companies, so many brands. How do you manage to do all that, and how do you ensure that in handling all this many that they are becoming successful? Because I noticed you have, what's it called? Is it TV Plus, if I'm not wrong? There's so many companies. I couldn't even just get them in my head. And in all kinds of industries, I saw that whatever you're trying to get into media, I saw, what's it called? You're trying to get into the property space through the, what's it called? Is it Buy Rent Kenya or the real estate? You have the domain. As in, it's so many things that you're trying to do. You have the chamber press. My goodness, what is it that you're not doing? How? What exactly? Why? As in, I just don't get it. How do you manage to just put all of them? How do you ensure that they all become successful? Because there's a danger of doing so many things and not being successful.
Yeah. I'll bring you back to one thing called purpose. For me, every single thing that I do is anchored to something. So it will not just float away, right? So there's a story behind every single brand that I build. If you look at TV Plus, my thinking was that, you've heard of Netflix, you've heard of, the big brands, Mnet and all that. And it's really tricky to get your content on such platforms, right? And yet you see so many people, so many young people developing so good content, put them in hard disks, and they don't know what to do with them. They're just there, right? So what if we develop our own platform where you don't have to jump through so many loopholes and it's so many hoops here to be able to be viewed on such a platform, right? So my thinking was, let's get the young people have their content on in this platform, right? From there, we can say, okay, fine, we have ours which we can use to portray for what. So even if at some point they will get to Netflix and the rest, yes, but we are giving them, we're opening the first door for them. That was my thinking for TV Plus. So as I said, every single brand that we have a thinking behind it. Realize that we have 3 online stores right now. We have Buy Kenya, we have Zizi, we have Soko, right? And this is, and I'll explain to you why. 2 years ago, when we were developing some of these brands, there weren't so many online stores which were properly done, which were owned by locals. I'm talking about an online store owned by a Kenyan or even African, right? It's very hard. If you do the research behind these big brands, none of them belong to Africans. I'm not saying the other brands are bad, yes, but to me, it feels good when we say that, okay, ZZ.click is owned by a Kenyan, is owned by an African who's actually a Kenyan, So when you're reaching out to the globe, because you realize we have companies all the way in Egypt, all the way, in Dubai, who want to post their products on Zizi, right? Or on Buy Kenya, right? And I feel very proud when they send us an email and say, okay, fine, Adams, can we post can we post on your platform? Can we sell through your platform, right? So you realize that there is a story behind every single brand that we actually have. So for me, it becomes very easy when I develop the brand, right, and hand it over to people who can now sustain it. Because for me, the only thing I do is just the inception, just the idea, right? I develop the platform, then there are people who sit down and actually now sustain the brand. I'm not involved in day-to-day running of the business, right? I come up with the idea. Yes.
But the question I just wanted to ask, how do you ensure that all of them are becoming successful? Because you've developed it, it's an idea that has popped up. Because just one of the interesting things that I was just doing my research on was on TV Plus. I know that it's yet to be onboarded as much because I noticed some of the content up from YouTube. But how do you ensure that they become successful? Because there's the danger of doing so much and not achieving the kind of success that you may want to achieve. Because as you've mentioned, you're already running three online platforms. How do you monitor them? How do you ensure that they become world changers instead of just being a statistic?
There's one thing which people have a problem with. People have a big issue with starting business. It's tricky, right? It's very hard. You realize someone will sit down and think of an idea for a whole year, 2 years even.
Yes.
Even 5 years, and they never implement. So you rather go ahead and implement an idea. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as you have the concept. When we started this interview, I mentioned that some of these things are still growing today. It's not idea you develop and you just let go. they're still growing. So if a brand is still growing 10 years down the line, right? What of a brand which started last week or 1 year, right? So for me, it's not, we'll reach the end. No, this brand will grow for the longest time, as long as there are people who are, building them slowly by slowly. You have started. That's basically the key thing. Because if you look at maybe the kind of resources people like Netflix have, uh, and maybe TV Plus, it's night and day. On the other hand, you need to look at the history of people like Netflix. How long did it take them to have the first 100,000 clients? I think you can do some research and figure out how long it took them. Decade, maybe?
It took a while.
It took a while, yeah. So as long as you understand the idea, you believe in it, then you just let it to the world. Yeah, the rest will take its course. Like you realize, out of all the brands that we have, maybe the one which is most active is Bidom in Kenya, right? Because the traffic is heavy. There's so many people there, as in, everyone is coming to the site to buy domains. But that also started with it started with one account. So I believe that when we are developing these brands, my focus is not to become a global brand in a day. No, my idea is let it come into the world, right? From there, we figure out how to grow it. An idea will come today, another idea comes tomorrow, right? Then from there, you just, you keep on just growing them bit by bit. You can never have a full perfect product when you go in.
True. And considering that, what's it called? You're playing some, you're in the SME space, in the startup space, and trying to set up different new businesses and trying to put out. What would you say would be, probably just from your lessons, what are some of key in terms of just setting up new businesses? Because you find that we're in our era whereby technology is king. We are literally consuming everything via phone, and I'm seeing most of the products that are developing it is for consumption via phone and just making it very convenient. I don't know, from your particular experience and from just being in the game, what exactly have you learned most so in terms of running a startup, running a tech company in this particular country?
Actually, Ian, you've got me in the right place, because see, currently I'm putting together a book which will be launched sometime next year, early next year. And it defines everything from, how do I pick a business? Because it's not all businesses you can just pick and say, this is the business I want to look into. It's not about just starting a business. It's a business which will last beyond you. Yeah, you need to leave something to your, to your young ones or whatever. You don't want to do a business just for the lifetime, for your lifetime. So this book will allow you to choose the right business, right? Yeah, choose the right business, because businesses, as good and nice as they seem, they're not businesses you need to start with. Yeah, so it will tell you, okay, fine, in this business you make good profits, in this business you make bad profits, right? So how exactly do you pick the right business? Then it will tell you how to start it. Right? You need to understand that you don't have to have brick and mortar to start a business, right? You can go online, buy a domain, get hosting, start up with a website, and when that picks, right, then you can decide, okay, fine, I think I'm big enough now, I'm strong enough now to go into brick and mortar. Realize so many businesses are dropped in a day because everyone is struggling to have a brick and mortar store. It's not necessary anymore, right?
Yeah.
So how do you start your business? How do you grow your business? And how do you scale it up? So the book will be broken into four bits. So I think maybe when you have the launch, we'll launch it with you. Maybe I can, yeah.
Interesting. I'm looking forward to it. And just as an entrepreneur, I know this year has been just so crazy. It's been so crazy for everybody, considering there's been so much disruption, there's been so much change in terms of how the consumers are and how people are consuming different things. I don't know how much has it affected you and some of the operations, because as you mentioned, I think, what's it called, one of your core business, the domain business. I don't know how much has it been affected this year.
Okay, for us, we're very lucky because most of our businesses are online. As I told you, we are in real estate and we are in ICT. So things like the online stores, Bidom in Kenya, most of these are online. But remember, our clients, most of our clients are not online. So, for example, if someone was paying their invoices very well and on time, realize this year the business has gone down. Their payment, of course, is affected. And when they get affected, we get affected because you cannot shut down someone's account because, business is slow. Adams have been paying you for that for 5 years, yeah? So right now, can you cut us some slack? You get what I'm saying? So you need to be very human. So in some way, it's affected us, not directly, but indirectly. Considering that, we are dealing with SMEs, we're dealing with young people. Of course, the big brands can pay up on time and all that, but it has affected us in a way, right? For the for the tech companies, yeah.
And what have been your takeouts? Because every particular this year, I think I was just having a conversation with my mom the other day, and and one of the interesting statements she said was that this year, if you've not learned a lesson, dunia cha kuchapa kiboko, or just need the world will take you to the world has literally taken all of us to school. I don't know what exactly are some of the lessons that this year has brought to you, considering that I think just been like unprecedented times. No one expected that you would be even just being here on Instagram. Who would have thought so?
Yeah. Okay, one thing that I've really learned as a young business is that lean is lean. A lean business is a stable business, right? So this year, if you had, for example, 5,000 square feet of space, you might want to, make it smaller. You might want to maybe to allow your employees to work from home, to save on such expenses. So I think what we've learned is that as tech companies, we are very comfortable and able to work from home. Employees, sales team, technicians, we're able to do that comfortably. And now, even going forward, we're really thinking about: do we really need the square feet of space? Is too expensive. How can we cut back? Something like that. So that has been a big lesson to us, and a lesson in a very good way. So I hope other people also in the SME space have learned something from the experience. Yeah.
Interesting. And the umbrella brand around your different brands and different companies is Adams Group. Yeah. How bold is it using your name just to signify everything that you're literally standing for?
Yeah.
Why?
Very bold.
If Adam meets with Eve, it's done.
That's very funny. To me, but I get you. What I was hoping for was that to have a very transparent brand, saying that I'm bold enough to say that to associate my name to this brand, so that when you mention Bidom in Kenya, you realize it's part of Adams Group. When you mention Buy Kenya, you realize it's part of Adams Group. To me, that ensures that we offer the very best because my name is on the line. So accountability was a big part of this whole conception, that I want people to say, okay, fine. I've worked with Adams through brand A, B, C, and D, and this is the experience. And even when you're trying to do big deals like saving land, or maybe getting funding for construction, all that. If someone knows that you like, my real estate brand is Adams Acres, and there's a reason I put my name. Because if someone feels that, okay, this guy has put his name on this particular brand, or the umbrella, I don't know whether I'm making sense, but to me, jetting my name to whatever makes it better to deal with the companies than someone who,
You've mentioned Adams Acres. What exactly does it deal in?
Adams Acres sells land, mostly at the coast. That is our main focus. So people who need land at the beach and whatever. So we come in and we make sure that some of the land does not belong to me as such, yeah, but we have people who are willing to have us as intermediaries, and we are able to, connect the buyer. So we don't have a scenario where someone is buying land somewhere and the money gets lost because, I paid, and, but if we stand in between and say, okay, fine, we'll make sure that the title passes from person A to person B, right? And we are the guarantor in the middle, and we get, commissions or whatever. That works for us. So for some pieces, of course, we have acquired and we acquire, we split and we sell. But most of the properties belongs to someone who wants to sell. So we act as a buying and selling platform. Yes, exactly. So we make sure that when someone pays, the money is in the bank. We tell the gentleman, okay, fine, the money is in the bank. We now need to start processing your title, right? And now, yes, when the title is in this gentleman's whatever, then now we hand over the resource. So basically, that's what we do. So that's what Adams Acres does. We're also trying to.
And just a selfish question is: I desire to buy a beach plot at one point. Yes. I believe at one point Moka. Of course. How much is the valuation right now if one wants to get something in Mombasa or Malindi?
This is very different. You realize different properties, different pricing. Okay. You realize that someone will say, okay, you'll have to go to the website. Go to adamsacres.co.ke. You will see a number of ranges there. You can pick one, then we can negotiate.
Give me a clue. Give me a clue.
You'll have to visit the website. Go to the website.
adamsacres.co.ke.
Exactly. Or you can just go to Adams Group. I think it's somewhere at the bottom. One of the links goes to Adams Acres.
Interesting. And just finally, just as winding up, I know, what's it called? Interesting. How exactly have you set up your team to ensure that you manage all these particular websites, all these particular businesses that you have interest in? How big is your team? How exactly do you manage your schedule?
You realize every single team realize that, okay, for example, the guys at Buy Domain Kenya has, the invoices must be created. Those are automated. However, people must call and tell people, okay, fine, there's this invoice is, I think, 20 days late. How do you intend to pay, whatever? So every team is different, because now for the online stores, you realize that there are people who are picking the orders, right? There are people who are posting, right? There are people who are looking for advertisers, right? For TV Pass, in that particular case, it's just content onboarding. So I realize some brands have maybe 2 people on it. Some brands have 5 people, depending on the size of the brand and what it's doing. So what I normally do is I have, everyone sends emails to me or text messages or whatever, but I have an eye on every single thing that is happening every single day, right? So each has a head of organization, right? And I'm just maybe supervising now, unless it's a new brand. And then I have to come in, for me, the new brands, we have to develop them, make sure the automation is working, whatever, before we hand them over to someone. Then someone now who will train, then he'll pick a team to run the business, right? So every single brand has a different team, right? Some are full-time, some are part-time.
Interesting. And just a final question that I'd like just to ask you, what exactly is the aspirations that you hold as an individual, as an entrepreneur? What exactly is the aspiration? Probably, let's say, after the question that people get asked in interviews, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? I know COVID has ruined it.
That's one question.
So assuming COVID does not take whatever anything happens to, because it's just in an uncertain world.
In 10 years, I'm hoping most of the brands that we have will be global brands, as in leaders in the market, not just in Kenya. And one thing I really want to stand, I want these brands to stand out is like they were made in Kenya, right? But now leading globally. So if I can achieve that, if I can make brands which are leaders in the market, not just in Kenya, not in Africa, but in the world, then I'll have done my job.
Interesting. Wow. I'm wishing you all the best. I think after just this, you said Adams Acres. Let me just put it on my comp immediately.
Then you can talk to me, see how we
Adams
can give you a good
Acres.
deal.
No, because I'm very serious. Like, just you never know. I may be walking tomorrow. I may walk out at Kemsa.
You might pass by and find someone calling you for
I
a
may
video call.
I may pass by Kemsa and then they give me, and then I may find myself just dropping out a deal. Like, good. It's a beautiful website, actually. Check it out.
You like it?
I'll just check it out. But I appreciate. Yeah.
You realize one thing. All our websites are very beautiful. All our websites. As in, the one thing we really pride ourselves in is that we develop very, very good websites. I think the best in the world.
Yeah, sorry.
One last thing, yeah. One thing, you can never go wrong in technology and real estate. As in, if you look around the globe, real estate is always, it's always growing in value, right? The top, as in, you look at the top 10 brands in IT around the globe, realize a big number are in technology. Big number, So technology and real estate, I don't think you can go wrong there. Right? So if you want to invest in real estate, that's the way to go.
I want a beach plot.
Talk to me. I hope you have. Talk to me.
I've just realized something about this COVID. I think I'll get to a point in life. Hopefully, God just get the abundance that I pray for and I work for.
Yeah.
I just need to just have a house next to the beach, man.
Yeah, you will. You will. I'll pray for you.
I will. I think we'll just catch up this conversation in the next couple of years. I'm sure I'll pass by Kemsa. I'll be okay.
This Kemsa thing is really on you, huh?
But this kind of house is just very unique. But anyway, I'll not go into detail. I hold so much opinions about how we are running this country. But I appreciate Adams for this particular conversation.
Yeah.
Looking forward even to hosting you on my TV show. And thanks so much for having created time. Thank you guys for having viewed. Asante sana.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate
it. Bye.
Thank you.